Guys, without a doubt in my mind, this was my absolute favorite episode of Star Wars Rebels this season. Yes, I liked it even more than episodes 1 and 2. This episode was so amazing. Look, if you are a fan of the old Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon, if you like the classic Clone Wars animated series, this is the episode that's pretty much made for you. It's Season 3, Episode 5 of Star Wars Rebels. The episode's called The Last Battle. In fact, this episode was so good that I just wish they would, I actually kind of wish they would have made this into its own kind of Star Wars story slash, side anthology film. It really deserved to have its own anthology film. I really, really wish that this would actually have come out in a theatrical live-action movie. They expand the story out to a full 2-hour movie. I would have absolutely loved this if they had done that. So the episode is basically about Rex. It starts off being kind of about Rex, and pretty much what happens is the crew of the Ghost reunites with Captain Rex, the clone, and they all go to this planet Agomar, which is a planet where the Clone Wars, the big battle in the Clone Wars take place, and then they're shocked to find that there are battle droids there still activated. There are battle droids there, and they are shocked. And it's one of those things where Ezra has never seen a battle droid before, so this is his first encounter ever with a battle droid. Obviously, Kanan has seen them before. Rex, of course, fought in the Clone Wars from start to finish. And it's pretty cool because, you're going into this and you're thinking that, when Anakin Skywalker went to Mustafar and killed all the Separatists in Revenge of the Sith, I'm fairly certain that most of us just presume that all the droids were shut down, but the galaxy is a very big place, so you're going to find planets, you're going to find, people hiding out, like the leftover clones in Season 2, with which Rex was one of. Here we go again. So really the first, I would say, half of this episode is really, they're trying to tell us a very interesting story because they're trying to tell us, Ezra's pretty much a fish out of water here. Ezra has heard of the Clone Wars but doesn't really know any details about it. He doesn't know why they fought. He doesn't know what they fought for. And it's very interesting how this episode has so many twists and turns and so many discoveries from these characters. So there's a big story being told where Rex fighting the battle droids kind of regresses back into being the Rex of old, and kind of, Kanan tries to explain to Ezra that Rex's old battle scars are showing, he's kind of back to being how he was, and because he fought droids for such a big part of his life. Now he's back to fighting them again. And it's crazy the battle droids are actually back. And so pretty much what happens is they get captured and they find out from the tactical battle droid leader, he thinks that Order 66 was a trick. He thinks that the Separatist versus Republic war is still going on. So I guess, I don't know where these guys were at during the end of the Clone Wars, but he's under the assumption that no, even though it's been, and you gotta understand, guys, for those who don't know, Star Wars Rebels is literally 15 years almost, I would say, about 15 years after the Clone Wars ended. So it's been quite some time. And, Ezra, of course, was very, very young and he doesn't know any better. So, during this time, of course, the Empire is still chasing after the Rebels and they wind up on this planet. And that's when we go to kind of, I guess you could say, the second half of the episode. I mean, before that, what happens is Kanan, Ezra, and Rex, there's this cool little scene where they have to team up to fight an army of battle droids, and it's literally like an episode of Clone Wars with the Jedi, except it's Ezra and Kanan this time. And of course, the droids think that they're part of the Republic, which, these guys are kind of behind the times. And I never thought we would actually see the return of destroyer droids. There actually were a couple of destroyer droids that popped up in a few of the comics lately, but we actually got to see them in action again, and that was cool. It was cool to see it. This episode pretty flawlessly merged the prequel era with the current Star Wars era very, very well. I think it did a fantastic job of merging the two eras together. And then what happens is, basically, Rex starts talking about how, the droids were programmed, and he explains that the clones were also programmed and bred for battle, which Ezra's kind of wondering, okay, I don't understand this. So they had the Separatists and the Republic. How did the Empire, come into fruition? So he's starting to figure out that maybe something deeper was going on, which, of course, everybody knows what really was going on. Emperor Palpatine was playing both sides like a puppeteer. So Ezra is trying to figure out who won the Clone Wars. And then the Empire, is who really won. And then the Empire actually shows up on the planet, and it's like, uh-oh. And they have this cool scene where the stormtroopers actually confront the droids, and they're shocked because it's almost like these droids are a thing of legends, and there are AT-AT walkers there, so that could be a problem. And Ezra pretty much teams them up. He teams up because of the Empire showing up. The former separatist droids are forced to team up with the former Republic clones, well, Rex that is, and Jedi, to face off against the Empire. This was incredible, dude. Like, I couldn't believe how awesome this was. So we're seeing the droids take on AT-AT walkers. We're seeing them fight them off. We're seeing Ezra and Kanan there doing their thing. And Ezra pretty much sums up that when, the droids and when the clones were fighting each other forever, when they were weak enough, the Empire took over. So it's like he's figuring out what's going on here. And it's almost like the Separatists and the Republic, what's left of them, I guess you can say, are also figuring it out. I thought it was fantastic. And the big thing about the end of the episode that was very touching is Rex tells Ezra, you ended the Clone Wars. You united them. And then Ezra's like, none of you guys were ever meant to win this war. So this was incredible writing. Like, what a throwback that we're seeing the droids team up with the clones against the Empire. You can only see this kind of stuff in Star Wars Rebels, and I love how they made everything fit together. And then the icing on the cake, folks, the episode ends with the Clone Wars intro music. That's right. The epic drums from the Clone Wars TV show plays during the credits and during the finale of this episode. This was a 22-minute love affair with the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon. For those who don't know, Dave Filoni and the rest of the cast, they never got to finish that show. The show was canceled. There were tons of ideas in place for episodes that never actually got produced. There was rumors they were going to go beyond episode 3. The show got canceled. Rebels came in instead. And this was such a great throwback. Such a great throwback to that series. I loved it. Loved this episode. My favorite one of this season so far. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching this review, and I really hope that at some point in the future we can see this again. We can see the clones and droids team up one more time against the Empire. Talk to y'all down the road.